I'd like to see candy.
Okay, we'll call to order the study session of the West Valley City Council. It is June 7th, 2022, 4:30 p.m. and we're in the multipurpose room of West Valley City Hall. We have all members present except Councilman Fitzmanu, and Councilman Christensen is virtual. And Tom, as we look, is not here as well. Hopefully he'll join us in just a few minutes. We have our minutes of May 24th. Do we have any comments or a motion on the minutes?
I know we got feedback. Tom requested the CARES Act funding piece, and we got an email back of those amounts. I wonder if we can get a breakdown of what we've spent. Is that just the money we've received?
Oh, I don't know, but this is just the minutes.
I know.
Oh, okay.
So in the minutes, it talks about Tom's request.
Oh, okay.
So we got that request. So I'm just following up if we can get another request for what we use that money for, and then suggested uses on the remaining.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll put that on the
It's probably-
future junior,
Probably future.
future
but
agenda
it
items,
was
yeah.
just on my mind, so.
Okay. So CARES Act. Okay, you want to make a motion on the minutes
Motion to
otherwise?
approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those are approved. Thank you. Okay. We will now move on to our review of our agendas. Is Mr. Pyle coming today or is he online? There he is. So do we have any changes with this evening's agenda?
No, ma'am, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Nothing. Any questions on the RDA, the Housing Authority, or the Building Authority?
Just a note, Mayor, Will be conducting that building authority meeting in my absence.
Okay,
And Tom will be conducting mine.
right. I got that. All right. We're just gonna do some switching around and then we'll be good. All right. We'll move on to our awards ceremonies and proclamations. And Ms. Day, did you have a presentation or for the award you're getting?
I can certainly come up and talk about it if you'd like.
Okay.
I don't have a presentation. It's for next week. so.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? It's just, our Parks Department is so awesome. They get this almost every year, don't you?
Different awards, yes.
But
This is
something.
2 employees that are getting awards, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so does anybody need instructions or information on that one? Okay, we'll let them come and present that. We'll move on to resolutions. We have resolution 2294. And we have Miss, I can never say Jeremy's name right, so
Miss Jeremy.
Miss Jeremy. No, but I've never said his last name. So Urkel.
Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay,
Yes, I'm Jenny Urkla. I'm the IT Deputy Division Head. And this item is an interlocal agreement between West Valley City and Salt Lake County for the purchase of aerial photography. We use aerial photography throughout the whole city, especially in conjunction with software that we use, such as GIS software, CAD software, and whatnot. We use it for a number of different purposes. We use it to compare growth and visualize, urban development with previous years. We use it for spatial reference. We use it as a background for online map applications and printed maps. We use it to collect data. Say, for instance, when new utilities go in, we use it to digitize things like storm drain manholes or retention ponds and things along those lines. And by partnering with other agencies, we save ourselves quite a bit of money because, we do one big flyover, or the county rather does the big flyover, and they use the aerial photography as well. We do, other agencies do as well.
nice. Any questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now go to resolution 2295 and Mr. Flores. You have the next three, so you'll just be up there all day.
All right, Mayor and Council, thank you. So really, all three of these, but this one specifically, it's just our annual renewal for our health insurance. Really no major changes. We made some small adjustments, but nothing major to the entire plan. So it's just new year, new contract. So if you have any specific questions or anything I can answer.
So with the rearranging of the insurance, did the employees see a cut in their benefit? I mean, in their contribution? Or did their contribution
With
stay the same?
With the change that we made? Yeah, so I can explain that a little bit. So what we did is we used to offer 2 different plans with 2 different networks. One of those networks was kind of decreasing, becoming smaller, and really not worth it anymore. So between our benefits broker and Select Health, they came up with this new option to provide one plan that has 2 networks in it. So we still provide a broad range of providers to our employees. However, it's a single plan, and the cost of that did decrease for us. So we initially thought that cost would go up much more than it actually did for the employees.
Okay. So they did have a small increase?
Yes, yeah. So we initially thought it to be about 7%, and then with this change, it ended up being about 4% increase in their premium.
Okay, thank you.
So with that increase, are we still self-funded or?
Yep. So no change to any of that. That structure's all the same.
Okay. And durable, so self-funded, we have enough money to pay and we have no problem with getting more money into our budgets and.
Yes. So the plan is still performed very well. We're happy with it. I guess one kind of indicator is the average kind of across the market increase is between about 8 and 10%. So for us to be at only increasing the employee premium by 4%, we're pretty happy with that. So our plan has done really well.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
With the benefits that are already taking place and the providers here, should we have approved this already, or is it just a technicality?
It would have been difficult to bring it sooner. We could talk to our providers and we could talk to Select Health and our broker about trying to get this process done sooner, but they really don't have this available till now. Wayne, I don't know if you have any input there on getting this here sooner. We could definitely try.
I'm sure I can comment on that, John. So, Will, I'm not sure if your question was really to get it here sooner or if it was really more how does it relate to the budget process. And this is the normal timeline of which we bring and get the contract adopted. I was going to say, as you all know, but you may not know, we actually do this every year. So we're operating currently under the same contract for the current fiscal year. This contract won't start until July 1 anyway, with the new budget year. We're actually in the employee benefits, what we call fair period right now, where they can choose to change their benefits and or whatever they want to do with that for the upcoming new year.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, the providers are here for these services, but we haven't approved the renewal. Just the timing seemed backward a little bit.
Yeah, so this is how we do it each year. And like John said, this is as soon as we get the information. As soon as we have the information in a final format, we bring it to you guys. So there really is no way to get it to you earlier unless, like John said, we just pressured the brokers to do it sooner themselves. And I guess that might or might not be possible, but.
Yeah. Just to add to that, I think I would say part of the reason is they need enough time to evaluate the previous year. So we kind of hit this point where there's only a few weeks where they can say, here's what we need, here's what we expect based on the previous 12 to 18 months. They get things to us and we bring it here as quick as we can. Yeah.
Okay, seeing no other questions, you want to move on to 2296?
All right, essentially the same thing, but this is just for our dental insurance. No changes at all. We are also self-funded there. Our dental insurance plan has been amazing. We've not given an increase in years. So we're just gonna keep things as is and continue to move forward.
The same question. So performing is very well, not under performing.
No, not at all.
How long we in a self-funded right now? 1 year or 2 years?
So dental was 1 year prior to, so I believe this is the 4th year we've been self-funded with dental. We did that early because it's a smaller plan with less cost. So we kind of used that to assess things and see if we wanted to do it with our health insurance.
Good.
Yeah.
Any other questions on dental? Okay, we'll move on to 2297.
All right, so this is a renewal of the contract for Mission Square, which was formerly ICMA RC retirement provider. So really, it's just the contract ended and we just need to renew it. We're not making any changes there. This will be a 7-year contract. So we have plenty of employees who utilize the services. We want to continue to provide that. So just signing a new contract with them.
And this is the same company, just changed their name?
Yep, they changed their name 5 months ago, maybe.
Is there a, well, I'm sure there is, how do I say that? Is there a reason? Is there a reason why we go through Mission and not just through URS?
Yes. So years ago, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know how many years. The city contributed additional funds to us for the employees to a separate retirement account, which we used ICMA RC for that. Since then, we've just always had so many employees investing their own funds there that we didn't want to take it away. So we've just maintained that contract and those services with them, and they've been great with us. And personally, for me, I think it's nice to provide another option for employees if they feel like something else might work better for them. So that's kind of how we promote them to the employees.
I'm assuming you guys were studying comparison multiple companies before you picked this one. Is that right?
It was well before my time. But in renewing the contract, yeah, we do look at that, and we had some long meetings with Mission Square discussing different options that are out there. They're a nonprofit. They only provide services to government entities, and that helps us as far as expenses and costs go. So it would be difficult for another private company to compete with them and provide those same services.
Also, to add to John's comments, Tom, directly to your question, yes, over the years we have looked at other companies, and there's really 2 reasons why ICMA RC in the past has been our preferred provider, and until URS came along and really frankly forced contributions to go to there, at least on the 401 side. The 2 reasons are, first, the offering in terms of plans is very widespread, and there's lots of different ways you can invest your money as you choose as an employee. Second, as important, if not maybe more important, is that their fee structure is much lower. Being a nonprofit organization, they're able to charge much lower administration fees than would, say, a for-profit organization, Vanguard or Charles Schwab or some of the other companies. So those are the 2 main reasons that we have been with ICMA RC all these years. As John mentioned, we've been very happy with their services. They're very attentive. They provide investment advice if you like that on a personal basis. They also provide this wide range of services, and they check with us and work with us on an administrative end quite diligently and regularly.
Thank you.
Okay. See no other questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we'll now go to our consent agenda. Is there anything that jumps out, Mr. Pyle?
No, ma'am, these are pretty normal ones. You got a couple of easements. The slope easement's a little different than what you normally see, but it really amounts to the same sort of a effect. You can maybe have Dan explain or detail that one if you want to. The other two are the typical warranty deed acceptances and temporary construction easements.
Okay, I would like Mr. Johnson to get up just because I had some questions about liability. So-
Yeah, we do these ones on an uncommon occasion, so they're not unknown, but they're fairly rare. So it wouldn't hurt to have Dan talk a little bit about them.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Mr. Johnson,
Yep, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, so this is just a slope easement for some, I believe it's for the road at 6200, or I think it's 6200 south at Wood Hollow. And it really just, while we won't own the adjoining property, we basically have a right to have a slope there so that the property owner can't dig the dirt out and undermine the road. And so that's really the purpose of these slope easements that we get from time to time.
So we're releasing the easement. Does that mean the road's already in or?
Well, on this particular one, I believe that the road is in, and I don't remember the details of this one. I apologize for that. And I believe that this release is because the road was widened. It was, oh no, this was for, I remember now, but this was for the end of one phase of the construction of this project, and it basically allowed for the road for the end of the road to have a slope coming off the end of it, and then as it was released, as the next phase of the road is built, then we don't need that easement anymore.
I guess my concern is there's a home right in the middle of it. So I don't know if this slope goes away from the home, towards the home and their property, whether or not it's going to flood them or wash off into their yard. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, so you're concerned that that the release of the slope easement would cause flooding?
No, I just don't know what it would. I don't know if they build on it and change anything, if it causes any problems. That's my concern. But I don't even know how big it is, so.
Um,
Do you know if it's like a 4-foot high slope, 18 inches?
Let me see if I can get some information on that. I can follow up and get it to you later if you'd like.
Okay,
or-
yeah, that's no problem. That was just
Yeah.
my only question. If it was gonna open us up to any kind of possibility of a lawsuit because of flooding or anything.
No, and generally these slopes are sloping away from the existing home.
Okay,
And so it's really the slope existed there. In this case, I'm looking at the map now. The slope existed in this case to hold up the end of 6200 South and the end of Hightower Road, where now the things have the next phases of this have been built, and so the slope does not need to exist anymore to hold up the road.
okay,
So I apologize. This was basically because these slope easements were necessary on the previous phases of the subdivision because they were putting a slope onto an adjoining property owner that was not part of the subdivision.
okay. That answers my question.
Apologize for the circuitous answer.
Well, you're okay. Anybody else have questions on any of those items?
Mayor, I had a question on the ADA ramp.
Okay,
For Dan or Wayne, do you know if when the residents are notified, what information are they provided? Do they have access to look at what the end result of the project will be? I noticed a resident posted online pictures of the construction that was going on near her home, home, and wanted to know if anybody had pictures of what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I'm just curious, when they're notified, do they have access to maybe pull up pictures of what it's supposed to look like, or?
Yeah, I mean, these pedestrian ramps are just a generic case of a right-of-way acquisition that we do very, very frequently. And when we do these, we send either a city staff member or a contract employee or not employee, but a contractor to go out and present them a real estate purchase offer. And at that point, we have plans and we'll show them what we are intending to build on the property or the easements that we are acquiring. And so, yeah, they're generally given a good feel for what things are going to look like. We don't, I mean, for pedestrian ramps, it's just oftentimes these are designed off of a detail, and there's not a lot of information that goes into, I don't know, there's not a lot that we have in the design phase to offer them to show them what the pedestrian ramps would look like, other than they're all over the place. And so I guess if it's a pedestrian ramp, we're not going to have much information to share, but these particular, I don't know, any other right-of-way acquisition, we have plans that we show the people and as we are purchasing the property. And if there's a particular individual that's got a question, we're happy to reach out as well.
Thanks.
Are you thinking it would be good just to have a picture of what our pedestrian ramps look like? And with the information they give out, just take a picture of a generic one and say, this is what it'll look like when it's done?
That'd be helpful.
Is that doable, Dan?
Sure. I mean, we would just find any random corner and take a picture and say, it'll look something like this. We're not going to design it specifically for their property, and they won't know how it exactly ties in and will look on their property, but I imagine they could, yeah. I mean, if that would be helpful, we'd be more than happy to include that picture.
Resolution 22-99 does have a picture of a ramp. There's a second, or the second one from the bottom.
Right, but did the resident get a copy of that picture when they were given the proposal?
They most likely, yes. I'm going to say
Okay.
they would have been given that.
Okay,
It's just a diagram. It's not.
It's a diagram. It's not a photograph.
photograph. Because I did receive a call when there was one close to my neighborhood. She didn't know what it was gonna look like when it was done. So I did take a picture in a different neighborhood and send it to her. So if I got one, I wasn't gonna mention it, but if Will was notified of another one, we maybe should start including that. Sounds like
Sure.
there's questions. Okay,
We're happy to do that.
thank you. Anything else? Seeing none, we'll move to the communication items. And we'll turn the time over to Mr. Harmon with our key performance indicators.
Yeah. So this was a topic at strategic plan that we were going to implement some key performance indicators. And so we all had an opportunity to submit key performance indicators, and I compiled those and put those together. And open for any comments.
So my one question is, do we need to get it down to just a couple per department? I mean, yeah, department. Because to me, even if we only got a report quarterly, this is a lot of reporting.
Yeah. All I did was take the duplicates out. So if we want to go through this and take some things out, or smooth things, however you want to call it. How do you want to do that? Do you want to talk about it here? Or do you want to do it?
Should we narrow it down? Have everybody go through and say maybe their top? Well, first off, how many would you like per department? That's what I don't really work with these much in my life, so.
I think all of these are, we could find value in any of them.
Right.
It's just a matter of what do we want as reported back that's most valuable.
Okay.
And I think we can narrow that down to probably 2 per department would probably be enough, maybe 3, but it's up to the council to what you think is important.
Excuse me. I'm thinking about it, we just let it run for 6 months, see how things going, and we can nail it down, which area, which department we need more or less, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely think that there will be some modifications, some adjustments
Yeah.
as we get into this.
So would it be helpful to use not ranked choice voting, but the ranked choice voting? And have everybody just kind of come up with their top 2 or 3 or 5, maybe. I don't know how the mathematician might have to tell me how you put it together and get the ones that are really the one.
So I could do a Google form
Okay,
and then everybody could vote on it. And we could have that be our way of.
and then it'd be
narrowing
really
down.
easy.
And
Okay,
then- So it would kind of be like a ranked choice. And then we could then we could just come back and present our top 3.
because I think it'd be easier to talk about a few than
Yeah,
so many.
Scott,
yes.
one thing I worry about is that if we have too many, we get kind of lost in them. I remember one time when I was serving on the State Board of Education, we had some new goals come up from the legislature and things like that. And we were writing goals and that for all of these things. And finally, somebody who'd been in the state office for a long time said, we've got those goals on file already. We adopted them 10 years ago. And they had just gotten put on a shelf and started gathering dust. And so I'd hate to see that happen with these. I'd like to see them used as something that we can use for planning and for working towards these goals of what we're trying to accomplish.
I agree. They need to be out in front, and we need to be reviewing those, monthly or quarterly at least, and see what adjustments we need to make to help the city improve and progress.
With the number we've got on there right now, a monthly or quarterly review would end up not doing anything else on the council for about 2 years.
Okay, I will set up, if everyone's okay with that, I'll do a
Okay.
Google form and can have people vote on that.
So will people just choose 3?
You'll rank 1 to 5, well, 1 to whatever, however many there are per department. And then we'll take the top 3. And if there needs to be any more tweaking from there, we can talk about it. So, does that sound all right?
So if we give something a 1, that's our top choice.
Yeah, I'll make sure it shows. 5 is probably gonna be our top choice. I don't know, what, 1 or 5? What's,
To me, my brain works, number 1 is number 1. It's the
Okay.
one I like the most. Number 2, number 3, pick it up off the floor if somebody else will bend over.
1 is the best then. Okay,
Will that work for Mr. Pyle and his direction of staff?
Thank you, Don. I do have some questions and comments, but I'll wait till everybody's done. If you are, this is all good input here. I'm getting some good information on what you're looking for.
Well, I gotta give him credit though. When I came here, basically, I learned as I go. You know what I'm saying? But here he's well prepared, and I think I give credit to Scott. Appreciate that though.
Okay. Anything else?
Just mine, man.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, did you want to comment right now then?
Yeah, if everybody else is done, I can. And mine's really just more sort of hopeful to give guidance as you are ranking these. So As we think about KPIs or performance indicators, like Scott mentioned at the beginning, the reason that you're really doing these is to figure out what matters most in your organization anyway, and let that guide goals and priorities and whatever it is action-wise you're doing. So for sure, you want your KPIs to be reflective of what your overall priorities are. And so to that end, as you council members are looking at these individually and thinking about what ones will matter the most to you, you ought to have those kinds of questions in mind. Are the things you're looking at really KPIs at all? Or maybe there's a different one that I'm more interested in, or what is the goal exactly that we're looking for here to accomplish? And again, even from the discussion standpoint later on, how is it going to be reported? Are we going to do it off of this form? Almost all of these are already reported somewhere in either exactly this format or in some sort of a very close format. But that might be another question you're considering as you pick your 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever they are. The second comment I had really kind of goes to what you also brought up, Mayor, which I appreciated greatly. I went down through all 80-ish of these KPIs, and I have questions from a clarity standpoint on almost every single one of them. So it would make that job, once we get back to that point, and I'm asking those questions again, a whole lot easier if we're doing it at the level of 1 or 2 of them per department, as opposed to 5 or 10 of them. And again, so that's just as you're keeping in mind, as you're picking the ones, I probably will have questions as to what exactly is meant by the KPI and how you're looking at it from a goal standpoint, how you're looking at it from a reporting standpoint, that sort of thing. And then the last sort of group of questions or area I wanted to talk about is I went through the departments and the 80-ish here items that were brought up. I also looked through all the functions of the city, and there's roughly about 30 functions within the departments themselves, significant ones, like, for example, the city council itself, or the justice court in terms of the prosecutors' work, or investigations and police. I came up with about 30 more functions that weren't even addressed in these. So you as council members may have other areas besides the ones that were listed here that are important or that you may want to address, or you may not. I don't know. I just wanted to point out as I went through these that there's a whole big chunk of the city functions that aren't really addressed on this list. So if you want us to do, or if you want to further discuss those or not, I don't know, that's up to you. But those are mainly the 3 sort of groups of areas I had comments and questions in, Mayor. So I think a lot of that, answering those and the discussion along those lines would be streamlined and faster if we did have fewer of these. But you might actually end up with, after winnowing them down, you may increase the list again anyway with these other functions. I don't know. But that's, again, whatever the council is looking for there. Bottom line summary, for sure, whatever we're doing here internally as a staff, we look at, again, almost all of these in one form or another, and we use these to guide our priorities from a time standpoint, from a resource request standpoint, from a resource expenditure standpoint. So we're already doing this, but from the council's priority standpoint, that a lot of times is going to align, right? But it can also be, from a priority standpoint, different as well. Certainly in terms of focus, we kind of have to deal with the breadth of all of these functions, and therefore performance indicators, metrics, benchmarks, all that sort of thing. Anyway, regardless of whatever the actual strategic goal and the strategic direction is. But you guys going through that exercise in terms of defining that, winnowing it, prioritizing it will be really important to whether this is helpful to you or not. Okay, that's all I got.
Thank you.
And I think looking back at the strategic planning meeting, my thought was that this is going to be an ongoing process, not just for us, but for future councils that they can use to find focus, so that when they have future strategic planning meetings, they can say, you know, this is an area that looks like we could improve on. How can we talk about that and improve on that? So I think we're heading in the right direction. We'll keep working on it.
Well, and where it's new, I think there'll be a lot of pivoting and changing. But if we went through all of these tonight, it would be the 2-day strategic plan meeting. So I think whittling it down will be helpful and we'll go from there. Okay,
Thank you.
everybody will return his email when he sends it. That would be appreciated. All right, we'll now go on to our council calendar. Are there any questions or modifications?
Can somebody explain the parade?
Oh, yeah.
What
Who
our
wants to-
process is and how we,
What we're supposed to do?
yeah, what we
Do you want
do.
me to come up front
Sure,
or?
let's do that.
It's been 9 years since we've had a.
It seems
parade.
like it.
Oh, no, we've had one more recently than that.
We had one the year before COVID, 2019. Yeah, 2019. So, yeah, that's right. We had some of the Fiats.
I must have been out of town.
Oh, probably, yes. So we're excited about having it back this year. And we have a variety of different things in the parade. And so your involvement, the parade starts at 10 at City Park in the parking lot. So we'd like to have you there. We say 9:30, we don't want you to have to wait around too long, but we want to be sure you get in your vehicle. So we're doing the same thing that we did in 2019. We have vehicles that we're getting from Ken Garf. So we'll be picking those up that morning and we'll have drivers in there for you, employees that will be driving the vehicles. They no longer carry Fiats. I apologize. So we're trying to get something cool for you to ride in. The thought process would either be some Broncos with the soft tops that we can take off or some Jeeps, we can take the top off, something along those lines. So it's highly visible and I think that'll be fun for you. So when you show up at the parking lot at City Park, my staff, I may be there as well. Sometimes last time I was out on the route, kind of getting barricades and getting different things, kind of helping with that a little bit before we started. But there'll be a staff person that will be looking for you and we'll make sure that you get into the vehicle of your choice. So first come, first serve. So then you get to select which one. I know Craig Thomas has created the magnet signs that will go on the side so they'll know who you are. As you go by, and some of you wanted to have some of your family in there, that's completely fine. Ken Garf was okay with that. And then I don't know the order, so I don't know exactly what order you'll be in the parade. So I can shoot you an email at the end of the week or maybe the first of next week if you care, if you're concerned about that. Excuse me, we have announcers along the route that will also identify you as you come through the area, just like in a normal parade. We ask everybody to not throw candy. I don't know if you were even interested in doing that, but if you have, we've had people that have kids or other family members associated with the entry, go hand candy out. We just don't want, if the candy doesn't make it all the way, we don't want kids running out into the street. So you're welcome to do that, hand things out to people along the parade if you would like to do that as well. We'll follow 4800 West to 3100 South, 44, sorry, 48 with Shopko. It used to be 48. We shifted when Shopko left. So 4400 West up to 3100 South, and then we'll head west on 3100 to Centennial Park and finish up there. And that should be a lot of fun. So are there any more specific questions I can help answer to that?
Is our float going to be done for this parade?
Yes, it will be done. And it's all taken care of with drivers and spotters, and that'll be a lot of fun. We have another float coming as well. We're a little early. West Fest is a little early on the float circuit. A lot of people are still finishing them up for the 4th of July, but we do have a couple this year. So that's nice.
So is the float going to be in any other parades? Are we trying?
It's
for
going to be in
Magna or
Days of
Taylorsville?
47 parade.
Magna or Taylorsville?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Is there a reason we're not doing other ones or?
That is not that doesn't fall in my department. I don't
Okay.
know if anybody else, has more information on that, but I do know that
Okay.
it's in those two parades.
All right, thank you.
So You're
I mean, it's
welcome.
pretty nice that they've got it ready for our parade.
Yes.
They don't get them ready that early.
Yes, yes. So we're really excited about that. We have confirmation from a couple places we tried to reach before it without success. We have the Basset Hound Rescue Group coming with their Basset Hounds and just some variety, some fun things. So I think it'll be enjoyable and a little bit cooler at 10 a.m.
How many entries do we have?
I think right now confirmed, we're pretty close to 40.
Nice.
So maybe a little less, we always have a few that might drop out at the last minute. But we've had some interest and to me, that's really good coming back after a 3-year hiatus, so we're excited about building it up again.
Great. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions on the calendar? Okay, we'll move to potential future agenda items. Scott, did you have one?
Just that one.
Just that one?
Yeah.
So the CARES Act breakdown.
So Tom, you requested a couple of weeks ago the CARES Act. We got that, the money we received. But I think maybe the next step is what did we spend that on?
Okay.
And how much do we have left? And then what are we thinking we're going to spend it on? What we have left?
What the plan is for the future
Yeah.
spending? Okay. All right. We can get that in a communication report or an email.
That's how it incorporated to your KPI. Because some people, they ask me, or some doctors, they got some, money from the COVID-19. Did you guys get that? So,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of put me in kind of like awkward position. So I want to kind of like hear Peter there in the report. Very nice if we have that. Tell people where money we're gonna direct to, point A, point B or C, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Now we don't know anything about it, so it's hard for me to explain to people. And we may kind of like in awkward position.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other future agenda items? Nope. Got my question answered before, I guess, so. All right, seeing none, thank you so much. Council reports. Nobody?
Just on a lighter side, COVID stinks.
Yes, it does. Well, can you smell to know that it stinks? That's the important
Yeah, I
part.
haven't lost the sense of smell yet, but my family's been down 10 days now testing positive.
Oh, dang. Okay, well, we're wishing you.
So, so Don, did you and I get it in the same place? Because we've been down almost exactly 10 days as well. Were we together somewhere 10 days ago that you remember?
No, because we were out working on my garden out back with my kids. One daughter from around the corner called the next day and said, I just tested positive. And so we tested and so did we.
Oh, my sympathies too. Yeah, it's no fun.
All right. Okay, our last motion is on to adjourn. We don't have a need, nobody's told me we need a closed session, correct?
No, ma'am.
So our last action is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Bye.
Okay, we're adjourned. See you at 6:30.
Mayor,
Yes.
so Craig Thomas just sent me